Hey Divi Nation, thanks for stopping by our documentation section to learn all about Divi's header and navigation options. So in this video, we're going to show you how to customize and configure both the settings and the structure of your Divi headers and navigation. Check it out.
In this video, I'm going to give you an overview of the header and navigation options within the theme customizer. Now, Divi comes with some great options for customizing your header and navigation area. It's such an important aspect of your site that using these combinations, you can create some, really unique results and designs for the many different kinds of websites you may be building. To find your header and navigation options, first you would go from your WordPress dashboard to your theme customizer. You would go to your left sidebar here, hover over Divi, and find your theme customizer. And once you go to your theme customizer, you should see a list of options that looks like this. And the second one here under general settings is your header and navigation. That's the one where we're going to be looking at right now. So once I click on header and navigation, you can see a list of options available to us. And they are extensive, actually, which is going to be very helpful for you when you're trying to fine-tune your header. The first one up here is the header format. Now, this is your high-level main structure of your header. And in there, you can see that there are some styles available to you. There's 5 different styles. One is the default, which you see here. There's also a centered style, which, as you can see, puts the logo above a centered navigation menu. You also have the option of putting that logo in line and centered. This doesn't look quite right because I don't have an even number of menu items. If I were to have 6, I would have 3 on each side, so that would have balanced out my navigation menu, and that would put my logo more in the center, which would look a lot better. There's a slide in. Maybe you want to completely hide your menu items from the start and only deploy them by toggling a slide in menu. And this would be triggered using the hamburger navigation icon here. To deploy your menu, if I click it, you can see that nice little slide in effect to show my menu with a search bar at the top of it. And then to close it, I just click the X, and that would, a good way to toggle your menu. And the last header style we have available is the full screen, which, like the slide in, is toggled open and closed using the hamburger nav icon here. If I click on that, you'll see that it deploys my navigation menu in a full screen layout. And I will close it using the X at the top. As you can see, some of these header formats, if I have them selected, will hide some of the options underneath. For instance, if I have my default header style selected, you can see that I have the ability to enable vertical navigation. Something that wouldn't be available if I have a full screen, because it's hidden anyway from the beginning, so you wouldn't have that option. But let's go back to our header style default, and let's click enable vertical navigation, and you can see by the click of a button you can have a completely new header style with a vertical left aligned navigation as you scroll through your site there. You can also change it to deploy in the right side of your page if you want as well. Let's go ahead and go back to our defaults. And let's go one level back to our header and navigation options again. And the next group of settings is my primary menu bar settings. The primary menu bar is your basically the bar that displays your primary menu, as opposed to your secondary menu bar, which would be displayed above this primary bar if you have it enabled. And I'll get to that in a second. But right now, what you see up here is your primary menu bar. If you wanted to click on there, and you can make some style changes to your menu bar. For instance, I can make it full width. You can see that the logo now goes all the way to the left to the full extent of the browser, and also the right aligned navigation menu does as well, goes full all the way to the right side. I could hide the logo image if I wanted to. Helpful maybe if you have the logo displayed in your header or something like that. These settings here will allow you to adjust the width of your primary menu bar. For instance, I could change the menu height. If I need more spacing. The logo max height, if I want a bigger logo or a smaller one, I can change it here. You can see my logo shrinking in size. And also the text size of my menu items. I can increase that if I wanted to. Increase the letter spacing. Change the font. We have a nice selection of fonts available. All right. Make it bold, italic if I needed to. I could also change the colors, the text color, that is. Maybe I want it purple to match my site. The active link color, that would be whatever page you're visiting. Let's say if I was on the About page, the color that this menu item would be can be changed here, the active link. The background color, we can change that if we wanted to. The drop-down menu, this is your drop-down menu here style. If I wanted to change the background to, maybe a darker version, I could do that. And there's a line here, a drop-down menu line, you can tell. Right now it's blue. Let me go ahead and change the default there. It's this little blue line. You can change the color there. And then the menu text color of the drop-down. And way at the bottom here, you can see that there's this drop-down menu animation, which is a cool effect. A lot of people don't even know about it because it's kind of hidden down there. But if you look, you can have the ability to change the animation style from fade to expand, slide, flip, just to give you an idea of what that is. I'm going to, right now, it's set to fade. So when I hover over my menu item, the subnav kind of fades in. I could change it to expand, for example. Now it kind of expands downward. Slide, it slides in from the left to the right. And flip effect. So there's your primary menu bar options. Let's go back one level and let's go to our secondary menu bar, where you have many of the same settings that I won't go over right now, but you can change your text size, spacing, fonts, all that stuff, the colors. But we can't even see it yet because we haven't deployed our header elements. So let's go back and let's go down to this bottom section here called header elements. And this, if I go ahead and add a phone number to here, and let's add an email as well. I'll just put something like email at website.com. All right, and let's go ahead and save this. And I'm going to refresh so that can take effect, and I should see a secondary menu pop up there. And there it is. I'll go back to my header and navigation settings, go back to header elements, and you can see that up here, this blue smaller top bar there is my secondary menu bar. I could choose to show social icons up there if I wanted to, if I have those selected. I could also choose to show a search icon up there. But right now I actually don't have a menu set up there, but if I did, it would also be displayed in my secondary menu. All right, so let's go back to our secondary menu bar and let's, just to show you here, if I wanted to change the background color to match, I can change it to a purple, and there you go. My secondary menu color has changed. Let's go back to our settings and let's go over our last set of options here, and this is for our fixed navigation settings. The fixed navigation is the state of your menu whenever you scroll down the page. By default, it'll kind of shrink up a little bit and to give you more room for your viewport, and you can change the style of what that looks like by editing these settings here. For instance, you may want to hide the logo just for your fixed menu. If I scroll all the way to the top, it will appear again, but when I scroll down, it will disappear. I could change maybe I want a smaller text size for my fixed navigation. I could do that. And maybe I want a much smaller height to, increase the amount of view space that I have. So I could customize the fixed navigation settings there. So, well, there you go. There's an overview of your header and navigation settings within the theme customizer.